What's up? Thanks for joining, everyone.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, happy to be here as usual. How's it going, Enrique and Chris?
It's going great. I'm happy to have Chris on.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
For those who don't know, this is Chris McCauley. He's a super famous, big, popular YouTuber. I've been watching him for a long time, and I'm just like honored to have him on the show. So, Chris, thanks for coming on here. Do you want to just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, guys. I appreciate it. And yeah, I make videos on YouTube, and about just making money online, sharing my journey with what I'm doing, and some of that's crypto. That's kind of where a lot of my subscribers come from. A lot of it right now is not crypto, and yeah, just having a blast with it all.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool. Super cool to have you on. We'll see what happens. Last week, it was just Alex all by himself. I was out of town.
Hey.
I don't know what Austin was up to. So it's
you guys
nice
are both doing thanks. Yeah, you guys are both doing Thanksgiving things with your family, and I was just like, crypto is my family. You know what I'm saying? So, my wife's my family, but I had to do it. I had to do it. So I'm glad you're back, though. And Austin is under the weather right now. So he is recovering. He has like a flu or COVID or something like that. And he's not feeling great. So he's going to skip out tonight. He hopefully will be back next week. Send him a nice message if you're watching. And hopefully he gets better soon. And yeah. So, Chris, you actually have 2 YouTube channels, right?
Yeah. So there's Chris McCauley, which it's just about kind of things that I'm doing that I'm currently ways to make money. Like I'm dropping a video on Tuesday. I just picked up a second car for Turo. It's going pretty good. Like Amazon, I saw on Amazon, all that fun stuff. And then it takes me like 5 to 15 hours to make a video. Just me, not including everyone else on my team. So there's a lot that I want to talk about that I can't talk about. So that's why I started a second channel. It's more niche for like my crypto people that like me. It's Better Blockchain, and that's going to be more interview style videos. So yeah, and which those take me I prep the questions, and it takes me less time and a way less expensive. So I think hopefully I can find some good projects to actually get in myself, as well as just networking and just talk blockchain.
So what percentage of your videos will be crypto versus non-crypto?
You mean on my main channel?
Yeah.
Well, I would say right now, 1 out of every 4 videos will be 1 out of every 3, 1 out of every 4 will be crypto.
Okay.
Yep.
That's still pretty decent size.
Yeah, gotcha. Pretty good. It's all right.
All right. And Alex, you've had a crazy ass day, man. This is what, your third video today, which is insane.
Third video, and I've got another one to do after this still. And then I've got like another I've got AMAs lined up in the days following this and next week that I've got to prepare for. And like Chris says, they take less time than doing like the review. You review something yourself, you know all the information and plan to get your notes and your scripts. But I still do a lot of that before I go into any AMA. So I put in a lot of hours of research, reading the white papers, watching all the videos, going through Discord and Telegram and Twitter, and just learning everything I can, and then putting together that list that you were saying. And that still takes me a lot of hours beforehand. So I got to do that before a bunch of AMAs again, coming up in the next few days, plus the videos tonight I got planned. It's been the craziest week. Everybody in crypto's like, let's just launch our project or our newest thing this week. So yeah, now I'm caught in the middle of it.
Are you guys doing more live AMAs still, or are trying to just keep everything recorded so it kind of goes more smooth? What are your favorites there for each of you?
I just do mine recorded right now. Yeah, I just do mine recorded right now. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that I want to do some live. What about you, Alex? Do you do live or what's that like?
I do them all recorded. I'm way out in the country in central rural Florida, so I literally live in a swamp forest, and
you're actually breaking up right now.
2 miles from the nearest. Shoot.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Another
there
reason
are
for
no
you to
internet,
do it, not live.
and that's why I do it. There are no internet service providers. I'm on 5G hotspot, and sometimes the internet, if the weather changes, I might connection. And then that way, audio issues. I don't know if you guys have done an AMA live or something, only
I
to
have.
find out afterwards that the person's audio wasn't working right or didn't record right, and then you're just like, yikes. Gonna have to do that over again. So
I did one
that's why
live.
do
I don't know if
recorded.
you remember. Oh, sorry, I was talking over you. Sorry. I did one live, and I didn't know it was live. I thought I was recording, and then I saw these people in the chat, like 7, 8 people in the chat. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I realized I hit the live button instead of the record button. So it was like that was really weird and kind of embarrassing. But
yeah, and I've done that. I've done that before too.
Edit this out. Don't worry about
Let's
it.
just keep going. Let's just keep going.
I actually am on the waiting list for Starlink, Mr. Pringles. Austin, hop on, man. It's not too late.
Get on here,
All
man.
Right. All right, guys. So today was kind of an interesting day. Before, I guess, as a topic, we had the jobs report. It came out a lot hotter than expected. Came in around 260 versus an expected 200K. So, of course, the markets did not react well to that. So we know that Powell's back at home thinking, "Oh, I can't wait to destroy the market come December 13th or 14th or whatever day that is." So that's why the markets did what they did today. But I think Bitcoin did okay, all in all. Still, printing a bit of a red candle today, but I mean, it really kind of did okay, all things considered. Chris, I'm curious, man. Like, this is your first time on the show, so we're not really about picking bottoms or anything like that. I've been pretty vocal about the fact that we still haven't hit a bottom, but it's impossible to tell. But having said that, what are your thoughts, man? Are you still feeling like everyone should be cautious and bearish and protect their money, or are you feeling like this is just maybe even a lifetime of opportunity as far as starting at DCA in a little bit? Where's your head at and all that kind of macro versus Bitcoin kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, and I think this is the problem with just finance YouTube in general, is that my answer is probably going to be different than other people's answer, and it's not cookie cutter, right? So for me, I personally think that like we're gonna, let's say it isn't even the bottom, and like we're just gonna go sideways for a while. Like for me personally, I think that I have better vehicles to put my money into that's not crypto. Like I just think right now, for me personally, because I've worked hard to create those opportunities, and maybe there's stuff in crypto that I'm missing out on, but that's kind of the route I'm going. But if it were me and I was, let's say, working, I would just like look at your opportunities, right? And see, okay, maybe I'm working a full-time job. I like crypto. Let me just DCA in, like, like Bitcoin, Matic, Ethereum, BNB. Like long term, there's not going to be anything wrong with that, 2 to 5 years out. So I guess it just depends on, and like, are you cool with that capital maybe going down another 50%? Like, just you got to be cool with that. So I don't know. That's kind of my, I guess, answer to that. Hopefully it makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That makes a ton of sense. And those are the big four. We've been talking about this for weeks that, those seem to be like the more that they go down, they're safe place, right? Those four that you just stated, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere. I think BNB is showing that it could be, who knows? I mean, it could, there's no telling how big BNB can be in time, but they're not going anywhere. They're safe. So it's not like 2018, right? Where you had to make that choice of like, if I invest in these assets, will they go to zero? Will this go away? I don't think we have that issue now. So it makes it kind of like those that you mentioned. There's probably 2 or 3 others I'd add to that list that are very safe long-term. But like you said, it could be a while, right? What happened with FTX, I think just delayed everything. Maybe it should kind of, taper down our expectation of how much money we can make in the next bull run. Time will tell. But, for example, some of the crazy things we saw, guys, like Solana at 260 or near another L1 near that made it to $20 at an all-time high. I don't know if we're going to see those things now, where before FTX, I kind of thought like we would see that in the next bull run and then some. I still think that Ethereum will definitely reach new all-time highs, because by then it should be for sure deflationary consistently, because it will have a lot more as far as volume. But, and I think that BNB will hit new all-time highs. I know its previous all-time high was around 700. I think that 2K makes a lot of sense if you look at it, if you look left and look at it historically. So those are safe, but like you said, it could take time. And then, but you gotta, we're kind of degens on this channel a little bit, Chris. Alex is a degen, I'm a degen. We like to go for those 100x calls. We just do. It's fun, and it's, so we're gonna have some of that in our portfolio as well, right? So the more some of these assets decrease, the more likely they are to, do a 20, 50x if you get in at the right time. So it's just, it kind of depends on what you want to do and how much appetite you have for risk. But yeah, I do like everything you said. Alex, as far as DCAing, have you been DCAing lately, or are you still kind of just being very, very safe?
I'm being safe. So I'm on kind of on the fence a little bit. Just waiting. I think it personally, not financial advice, yada yada yada. I think it's probably going to go lower the market overall. I'm still thinking we could see $11,000 or $12,000 Bitcoin. I could be totally wrong, and I could miss the boat. Who knows? Just to be completely real with everybody. But like I have a little bit of Bitcoin that I've DCA'd, and I have a little bit of BNB that I've DCA'd. I like BNB a lot too, Enrique. I think that has a ton of upside. And I think it's one of the big players in the space. I have a little bit of Ethereum, but nothing significant at it. I'm also dealing with managing a business. So I have to do a lot, like a nonprofit business, as well as a business now. So I'm managing cash flow, and I have liquidity on hand in case of emergencies or large expenses, vet bills for the animals at the animal sanctuary. So just in terms of like getting my finances in order, in terms of making sure that I don't have any credit card debt, all like the basic stuff before I'm even stacking sats and all that. But maybe if I hit the bottom, I might pull some ballsy moves, like take out another mortgage and go all in on Bitcoin and BNB or something. Not financial advice. Don't do that, people. That's crazy. But and my wife murdered me. So a man can dream.
All right, and to the 12 of you watching so far, there's a certain chart you want us to look at, definitely let us know. I think 2 weeks ago we had 57 people on here at one point, so we'll see how busy we get today. But Chris, we're looking at the monthly chart right now. It's looking, nothing's for sure, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out that we're pretty much heading towards that 13.8 kind of big level resistance. There's a lot of confluence if you look at it from these points right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 different points kind of tell us that that's the next little big level resistance. Just seems like we're going there. Timing these things is damn near impossible. No telling how long it will take if we do get that low, how long that would take. But having said that, Chris, what are your thoughts on timing? Like for how long do you kind of mentioned sideways? Man, we're all over the place. It's really hard to use technical analysis or historical facts because of the fact that this is the first time in Bitcoin's existence that it's under quantitative tightening versus quantitative easing. So it makes it really hard to predict these kinds of things. So Chris, what are your thoughts? Do you think we will see, if we get that low, do you see something near? Do you see it happening 6 months from now? Where are you at with that?
That's a great point. I don't even know what the quantitative tightening means. So that's you'll have to.
I'll explain it. It takes 5 seconds.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So basically, what the Fed did, right? They have they're like dual mandated, but one of the things that they have under their tools is that what they can do is they can either release liquidity into the market or take in liquidity from the market. And one way that they can do that is either by adding to their balance sheet and buying all sorts of assets, like bonds or whatever, or, junk assets or whatever. The list is very, very diverse, or they can sell it, right? And basically by buying, they're adding liquidity. When they get rid of it, they're taking liquidity from the market. And they basically stated that they're going to be under the umbrella of quantitative tightening for a bit. They haven't really done much. They've only reduced the balance sheet by 2%, which is much lower than what they said they would do. I guess they just didn't want to break things. So that's what quantitative tightening is. So, a lot of people just focus on what the Fed does with how much they add as far as money supply, right? Or they really hyper focus, like we all have, on what Powell's going to do with the interest rates. But the quantitative tightening versus easing is apart from that. It's somewhat related and correlated, but it's different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Okay.
No, that's good info, man. And can you repeat your question for me again, just one more time?
Yeah. So as far as timing, like if you had a guess, like when do you see if let's just assume or give us your thoughts of what you think the bottom would be. You know, let's just say it's 14K. Do you think that it's going to be near term, or is it going to be something that's going to take forever? And like you mentioned earlier, we're going to go sideways forever.
Well, I've been saying this on my channel. I think since like March or April of this year, I thought it would be early 2023. So like, I think, I think that's when I think the very bottom will hit. Like I'm looking at buying a property, then like for Airbnb, and that's when I think is a good time. Now, like we could be wrong. We could or I could be wrong. Like it could, go up, substantially before then, or we could go into a depression and it could get really, really bad. I don't know. That's what I'm kind of, I guess, banking on.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Alex, what are your thoughts, man?
I don't know. You're talking timelines, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say like end of Q1, sometime Q2 next year. Maybe we were talking about like March, I think last time, Enrique, where we were
So it hasn't
plotting
changed.
things.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
I'd
at the
probably
same.
say
Okay.
about the same. It's gonna chop sideways and down, then maybe have like a big old fall down as the final capitulation happens, and then a quick bounce back, a V-shaped recovery, if you will, and then those people who set, and then at that point, maybe the Fed will freak out, time it all, turn back on the money printer, everything will inflate. We'll go to the next bull run. Also, we've got the Bitcoin halving coming up. So you could basically go off that as well. Historically speaking, I'm not, nothing's ever guaranteed, and the markets are always full of surprises. I mean, with the Bitcoin halving coming up, that's usually when things start kicking in gear. So a lot of people are just kind of until we're close to that, the momentum going and getting in for the run up.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes,
All right, let
Austin,
me
good
ask you
one.
guys-
Austin
Yeah.
thinks it's go up and down, then up and then down. So yeah, I'd have to agree with that, Austin.
All right, Alex, next question. We'll start with you, man. Sol, is it dead?
All right.
Is it going to come back? What's going to happen to Solana?
Ooh, yeah, controversial, man. You're gonna get me in trouble here. This video, as soon as enough people on Twitter watch this, I'm gonna get all the soul survivors coming after me. I don't know. I think it was so closely tied to FTX that it's going to be hit, but I do think the development community in Solana, I think they're strong enough that they're going to recover from this. I think it's going to be hurting for a while. It's going to have a little bit of a stigma, but I think they can shake it off and keep building. So, it sucks that this happened with FTX, and that FTX had so much exposure to Solana and was so involved with them. But I think they can decouple themselves and keep going. There's so many people building on there. Just
Okay,
my
Chris,
opinion.
what are your thoughts?
If it goes to zero in the next few months, my bad. Yeah.
I mean, I think time heals all wounds. I think people just forget. Like there's for better or for worse. So, I mean, I think that they can do it. I really don't know too much about the project. I just know that it was like, with FTX. But I mean, there's been some crazy rebounds. I mean, there's been some projects where you're like, oh, this project is dead, and then it just comes back out of nowhere. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's funny because when things were going really well for Solana, the narrative was that everyone hates Solana if you're dev, that building on Solana is the equivalent to eating glass, is what they used to say. So it got all this weird kind of like, kind of fuddish narrative. And now that they're down and out, you're not hearing that stuff anymore. Now you're hearing, oh, it would be this amazing redemption story. And I think because a lot of people do feel bad for a lot of people in that ecosystem that completely screwed, right? So it's just interesting to see how the narratives are changing when you look at like crypto Twitter and all the different social media places. But the bottom line is that there's going to be a ton more competition. You have an asset like an L1 like Near that was basically built to compete with Solana. You now have Aptos, Sui. You have all these different L1s coming up. And then on top of that, you see all these like decentralized exchanges. I'm sure you've heard the hype about like GMX and all these different types of that I think are going to, even though they're not related because they're not like an L1, they're going to just take market share as far as dollars, as far as what people are going to invest in away from these L1s. So I think it's going to be a tough road for Solana. It sounds like neither one of you plans on buying any. So I was just curious because, you know, a lot of people are thinking, wow, Solana's at like, you know, it used to be 260, now it's at 13. It could be an amazing deal, but I just don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen. Nate's bringing up the Sol phone. So have you guys heard about the Solana phone?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah, they did create a phone. At first, they were laughed at for it, but now, now that you see what happened with, like, for example, with Twitter and Apple, where Tim Cook was like, "No, f you, pay me the 30%," and if you want, right, with Twitter, right, and now what they're doing, they came after Coinbase, and now they're expecting the 30% tax on anything that happens through the app. Like, so think about Coinbase trying to sell NFTs and all sorts of volume. They now want 30% of that. So now it makes the use case for a Solana phone a lot stronger when you can avoid having to, you know, go through Apple with the iPhone. So something to think about moving forward, because it really is something that's going to become a huge issue if Apple doesn't change their stance. So
wait, Apple. So if I'm understanding this right, Apple is imposing a fee to do crypto stuff on it, basically.
Well, it's anything. It doesn't matter if it's crypto, non-crypto, whatever. So they're imposing on basically anything from what I understand.
So what you're saying, if somebody accesses like, I don't know, a centralized exchange or something and buys something through an Apple
yeah, like
phone,
it has to be like an NFT. Yeah. They would have to pay a 30% tax on it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's not sustainable.
Wild. And I'm guessing that's done through the app. I'm guessing that's done through the Apple Store, like the Apple specific versions of those apps for like Coinbase and things like that.
Yes, through there.
That sucks.
And I might be missing a detail
either.
Too, but
like I'm trying to. I mean, obviously, it's like okay to make more money, but like I feel like it's deeper than that. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Yeah. I'm trying to find the article so I can word it exactly. So see, new Coinbase had to disable mobile NFT trading on its iOS wallet in dispute over Apple's 30% App Store tax. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to go well.
Yeah. So now it makes something like the Solana phone maybe not that bad of an idea. Like I don't know.
I'll get one. I'll get one.
I mean,
for sure.
I made fun of them. Now I feel stupid. Now it's like, oh, I was the short-sighted one. I should have seen what they saw. You know, they kind of had some vision there. So we'll see what happens. So I think that's pretty interesting. So Chris, I'm really curious, man. As far as crypto, what is your biggest holding right now?
My only holding, which I guess technically isn't a holding. So I have a Gala Games founder node that I get Gala on every day. And then that's the only reason I have that is because I don't know, I can't sell that every day. I guess I could. But then there is I got the project Element United. I picked up 5 nodes on that. And that's not even making me any coins right now. So the nodes will turn on sometime in January. And that's it, man. Like I cashed out 90% of my funds in April. And then the other 10% or like 7.5%, I cashed out about a month and a half ago. And then I used those funds to pick up those Element United nodes. And then other than that, yeah, just chilling. So, but if I were to buy, I think Matic and BNB, like big plays, I would say, but I'm curious to know, like, I got to hear like some of your guys, like smaller, like 1000x plays. I'm really curious.
The one I'm pissed that I missed today. You guys probably saw me stream it for a second there. I tried to get into Truth Seekers KYC pre-sale, and they sold out so fast. It was like $1.9 million in an hour and a half. I'm like, oh, I got plenty of time today. They're not gonna sell out a $2 million in the bear market. So like I was working on another AMA and doing this stuff, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta hop on and make sure I take the position that I was gonna get. No, it was gone, and it was like there's like $2,000 left available, and I was like, I click live stream it, and I let people watch me try to buy it in live time, and you can literally, as my transaction fails, and you can see my heart drop on camera. So if you want to see a really kind of sad and
A sad
pathetic
Alex.
live, a live stream, go watch my Truth Seekers live stream I just did. I'm gonna do a follow-up video, kind of breaking down the project, because I do plan on getting in at launch. I'm gonna pay a little bit extra, but it's kind
I've never
of a
seen you
long-term
sad.
play. It's hard for me.
Never seen you sad, Alex. That's I may have to watch
it's a
that video
rare
just to
thing.
see that.
Yeah,
It
and
is.
it was a fun sad. Right, it was in the spirit of having fun. I was let down.
Yeah.
It was like a FOMO thing. It's like, oh, I missed.
You didn't lose money. You didn't lose money,
yeah.
so so that's a good
But
thing.
They do say
so Nate kind of go ahead, man. Sorry.
In psychology, I read a psychology article one time that says the fear of missing out is more painful than actually losing money, and I felt that today.
I don't know. I think it's more painful to lose money, but I'll agree to disagree on that one. All right, guys. So I think Nate brought up a really good point, because I feel like Arbitrum is where the gems are at right now. I really feel that. I right now Arbitrum reminds me so much of Tune Forks back in January, February, March, when we were just crushing it with Tune Forks. I really think that Arbitrum, there's a few guys. There's a few that are very, very interesting. But you got to be really careful, because these are very volatile, and a lot of them have gone up. I mean, we started talking about a number of these when the market caps were about 1 mil. We'll start with Buffer Finance. I know that Alex, I brought this up like 3 weeks ago. Look at the market cap now. It's only up 1.7, so it's only gone up about 50%. But with staking, it's been pretty profitable. I think this one's really cool. It's like a fork of GMX, but they have their own kind of flavor to it. You can trade Forex on there. It's basically like, Chris, this is like they offer the opportunity to basically like gamble. You either win or lose based on whether you think an asset will go up in the next 5 minutes, next 15 minutes. And it's crazy popular, and it's very addicting. So
is it like is it like binary options trading, where it's like,
yes,
is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's very cool.
That stuff's so addictive. So addictive.
It's very addicting. So just be careful, guys, because it's like, it's like 5 minutes. Okay, we'll have one more, and then so it's a lot of fun. So that one I think has a ton of potential. As we talked about before, the Arbitrum airdrop has not happened. So you definitely want to start looking at some of these before the airdrop happens, because I think some of these will go wacky. GMD, guys, we've talked about GMD again. So again, it was at like 1.1 million market cap. It's now 6.6. I sold all my GMD because I will happily take a 3.5 to 4x win in less than a month. So I don't own any GMD right now. But guys, listen, I have some really cool alpha. I was actually going to do a video on it, but I was too damn busy. All right, guys. So look, really pay attention to this, because this is really, really cool. Actually, we're going to go to the 4 hour because this is a really easy way, I think, to make like a 10, 20% next month. All right. So look, you see this huge drop right here, guys, on November 30th at 1600 time, my time. That's really midnight.
That was Brando right there. That's what happened there.
No, so seriously, guys,
inside joke.
I think it is a good inside joke. So this was midnight at whatever time GMD, wherever they're based out of, and this is what's happening. That with this asset, you stake it. When you stake it, the staking ends at midnight of the start of the new month. So this is why you saw this asset go from, let's see, $78, and I could have showed you this in the 1 hour, it would have been no different, to $54. So it went down almost 40%? Is that 40%? I'm trying to do some quick math in my head. Maybe close to 40%. And then you're able to scoop up some really inexpensive GMD right around that same time, right after it's gone down, say 20, 30, or maybe 40%. And then you could probably, if you want to just do a quick scalp, just wait for it to then come up. And then, easy way to make a 10, 20, 30% on your money in minutes, literally in minutes. If we go look at the 1 hour, I don't think that candle is going to look any different. Look, you could have made your money in an hour. But now we know, because this is the first time that GMD has done this since its inception. So now we know that with that weird staking rule, if they don't make any changes, because who knows, the team may get smart and go, oh, wow, people are going to kind of game theory this thing. That it's going to drop at least 30%. You can just try to pick it up once it gets down here, 30%. You got to pay attention. You got to be up around midnight. Well, our time, it's only like 16. That's like 4 o'clock, right? 4 o'clock Central Time. So yeah, you don't even have to be up late and pick it up because of this weird thing. So just something that I noticed, guys, we're always trying to provide some kind of alpha or some kind of way to make profits. this is an easy one, right? Because we know the game, we know how that goes. So Nate's saying good short opportunity. You cannot short this asset, Nate. The market cap's too short. You won't be able to find a place where you can short this asset. So the play would be to wait for it to drop, try to pick it up down here on 30%. And then if you don't want to hold on to it, sell it. I mean, I held on to GMD for damn near 3 weeks, or just because I think it's a solid project. And I was waiting for the Arbitrum airdrop. But I just wanted to share that, guys, because I think that's a kind of cool way to try to make some money. And it's a good asset anyways. And when the Arbitrum airdrop happens, it's going to go up even more. I just didn't want to get greedy, so I sold all my GMD. Nice. So those are a couple of the kind of little kind of gems in the rough, kind of, Chris, that we've been kind of looking at and trying to figure out. But there's a few. Alex and I have been big proponents of an asset called MDB. Their founder and owner has been on our show before. Alex,
DeFi
you know this
better,
project.
Right?
I'll let Alex talk. He knows this better than anyone.
I'm deep in MDB, and they just released their Xenia 2.0, their DApp, where they have like their smart contracts to interact with their assets and farms and stuff. I'm super deep in the MDB/BNB liquidity farm. I've got like $4,000 in there or something, and it's making me like, I don't know, I would say like $15 to $20+ a day in MDB at the current price. And when the price is up higher, it's making even more. And I've just been like rolling that into itself, taking profits here and there now. But it's been one of my best assets, because it's just like I've just been farming the crap out of it, and they've just been releasing new stuff constantly. Their community is super strong.
And your tokens appreciate. Talk about that, Alex. How your
sure
worth appreciates.
They've got deflationary aspect to the MDB token specifically, where they do buybacks and burns, and then they also they like to lock up the MDB in different ways to pull it out of the circulating supply. If you like EMP partnership, you probably know EMP, Chris, over at EMP.
I just saw them.
You just did an AMM.
I just saw it. That was the first time I've ever talked to him. But I've talked about the project like loosely on my channel before. But I mean, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and explain it.
So MDB has been making these really cool NFTs, utility NFTs, and one of the ones they did was a partnership with EMP, and they minted these Sentinel Squadron NFTs. I've got 9 of them, and those are making me like $20+ a day in eShare and MDB. And I just take the MDB, put it in the MDB farm, and I take the eShare and I put it in like the eShare single stake or the reactor, or I take profit on it, depending on which day it is. Dude, and it's just
Are you taking notes? Day. Are you taking notes, Chris?
This legit sounds like a Pokemon game or something. Like this sounds like you like take the thing and then you roll it into this thing. I'm like, what's going on?
And then it levels up and it evolves to the next form. All right,
and it turns into Charizard. So.
And if you want to skip ahead, you got to feed them some rare candies, level them up quicker. But yeah. So they've got the MDB token, which has what they call like capital synergy, using the Phoenix fund, which is almost like a trust fund where they have like a principal balance and they take the interest from that. They take a portion of the interest, do buybacks and burns. They take the other portion of the interest and they roll it back in, so it snowballs the principal. So that thing's constantly growing like a big engine and growing like a snowball, and doing bigger and bigger buybacks and burns on the limited supply of MDB. And then they recycle those MDB when they buy them back. Sometimes they redistribute them as rewards, so they're like not minting new MDB tokens. Now they're doing a whole bunch of other stuff like the NFTs, where they're actually locking up MDB in NFTs, like the Phoenix Fire Club NFTs, and they're like locked up in there, and they give you MDB like every month. And I've got one of those, and that one's making quite a few dollars a month as well. It changes on the volume and stuff like that. Now MDB Plus and Phoenix Plus, these are their ever appreciating stable coin backed smart contracts. Like I don't know if you're friends with like Jesse Eckel, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So he just did a video recently, I believe, about Phoenix Plus, which is it's 1-to-1 backed with BUSD in the smart contract, and it's got like a 2% fee in and a 2% fee out, and it takes those fees and it uses those to buy more BUSD to back the contract. So there's always enough BUSD if somebody wants to cash out, there's always BUSD there for it, so it's not like a bubble, if you will. And it's interesting. It's always going up. So it started. I got in at like $1.13 or something, and I rode that thing to like $1.40, and it just keeps going up. And the more volume there is, the higher that price goes up. So now it's up to like $1.56 or something like that.
I have it up. It's 121. Yeah, 121.
Wait, no, Phoenix Plus.
Oh, Phoenix Plus. I'm sorry, I'm on MDB Plus. Okay, I don't have that one charted here. Okay.
Phoenix Plus is like 156. I checked it earlier today.
Okay.
And MDB Plus is like a smaller, less volume that. So instead of like 2% in, 2% out fees, it's like 0.25% in, 0.75% out, something like that. Don't quote me. I'm just going off the top of my head on all that.
What's the risk here? Like, I mean, what can go? I guess like what can go wrong? I feel like there's a lot that can go wrong.
Well, it's a smart contract, right? So it's like this is new technology. Anything in DeFi is new tech, right? So if there's a new exploit we don't know about yet, like that could happen.
Really, no one's really pulled this off. Like, so we're like long term, and people were like, oh, like AJ with EMPs, like, we've been around 11 months, and it's like, great, like that's awesome, but like that's really, like this is still so new that a year is a long time. So
it's true though. It's yeah.
No, I got you.
And that's why I always say like this stuff's super high risk, right? It's experimental fintech, crazy stuff on Ethereum based EVM blockchains. Like BNB Smart Chain now is still very, very similar, and like it's all new though, and there's a level of centralization. So like BUSD, if something goes wrong with BUSD, which by the way, BUSD is my personal favorite stable coin. If I stay diversified in stable, so like I have some BUSD, I have USDC, not so much USDT right now because things are with the FTX and so anyway, I'm mostly USDC and BUSD, and I try to stay spread out on multiple blockchains as well. So not just BSC, but also Ethereum, Avalanche, wherever, and I try to spread them out in case there's an exploit on one of those blockchain networks. I still have assets over on these blockchain networks, and I'm not totally screwed. And if something happens with one of these stable coins, I have split between stable coins, so I'm not totally screwed. So it's all about, for me, risk management as much as possible, especially in something like so experimental and high risk like this. Like this isn't your 401k, this isn't your FDIC insured bank account.
Gamble. Yeah.
This is like gamble. The crypto version, like what you just said is like the crypto version of like the old lady that like went through the depression that like hides money in her couch cushions, like in the cabinet. It's everywhere. So like if someone breaks in, we're gonna be good.
Yes.
That's cool.
That's exactly what I'm doing, man. It's like I feel like back in my college days, living in like a real shady house with 7 roommates and people I don't know running through all the time. And like finding my like door open, like, and I'm like, oh, who is rifling through my thing? So you have to like come up with clever ways to hide all your stuff in case you get robbed over here. You're not totally screwed. And I think of it the same way with DeFi. If somebody robs me over here and rug pulls in a project that I was gambling on because I'm a degenerate, I'm not totally left, and my wife will leave me. Like I can break. I lost a fifth of my portfolio. It will be okay. Blown up another account. Please give me. She'll be like, get out. So yeah, so that's MDB in a nutshell, you guys. And Nate, to answer your question, they do generate external revenue sources. So it's not fully supported by external revenue yet, but they have an interesting system that it's like the chart kind of speaks for itself. So there's a lot that goes into these DeFi projects, and they've got DeFi as a service stuff. Like they're making these NFTs for other projects now. They're making revenue that way. They're doing the Gravity project where they're like adopting and taking over projects that have failed, and they're generating some revenue that way and building their community that way as well. And then like the fee systems, and I know a lot of people can say, oh, taking fees is like Ponzi stuff, blah, blah, blah. Not really. I mean, the Ponzi definition, that's not the Ponzi you have in the United States. If you go to investor.gov, there's like, I think 8 or 9 requirements that like a court has to basically vote on per case. So you can't just, say something inside out, oh, it's a Ponzi. Any kind of liquid market where you can trade the price action in any way you want, it's not really Ponzi, honestly. If you're advertising super high, unrealistic rewards in percentages, in dollars, that's one of the requirements for a Ponzi. So deceptive marketing, unrealistic rewards, priced in dollars. And then if you downplay the risk, if you say, oh, it's super safe, blah, 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 nothing can go wrong, that's another check mark that will kind of screw you if you end up in court with that. And then the whole liquid market's really important. So a lot of the cases that they went after for Ponzi's and crypto, they were straight like MLM pyramid schemes with a non-liquid asset, where like the only way you made money is like you get $5 if you sign this person up, and if they sign somebody up, you get $2.50, and if they sign somebody up, you get $1.25. And those ones, I forget the one that started with an F that they came down hard on. But
with a what? You're
I'm back. All right, can you hear me? Anyway, yeah, I'm talking super fast, but Nate, it's a good question, and I like people asking questions like that and getting us all thinking about these things, because we really have ourselves out here because it's regulated and we don't know what's coming in terms of regulation. So it's good for us to know these definitions, especially in our own jurisdictions, because in some completely different rules, how we kind of judge those cases and secure. That's generally what they try to charge them as unregulated securities out here. Anyway, enough of that. I really want to jump into Chris's YouTube channel real quick. Enrique, are you cool if we kind of get the story?
Yeah,
I wanted
two
Chris
things,
to tell
man.
us.
Just two things I did want to bring about MDB. First of all, I did notice that the volume has been dropping quite a bit. The 30 daily is pretty low for MDB, so it's something to keep an eye on, guys. Did notice that. Chart's looking a bit bearish, I think, but it's really hard to apply TA to these assets, right? Because they're so small, but just keep that in mind. So I just want to bring up those two other things. The other one, Chris, to answer your question before we talk, before what Alex just brought up, I do want to tell you guys about GigaSwap. I don't own any right now because it's almost done a 3x, just like in the last week. Guys, just keep this one on your radar. If BTC drops to like 13.8, this one's going to get these kinds of like risky assets are going to get destroyed. You can probably get it down here again. GigaSwap is basically a very, very cool project. It's like the first, it's going to be like the OG of decentralized, completely decentralized OTC platforms. Okay. So just think about it as being the first Uniswap, but on the OTC side. So it's gotten a lot as far as that narrative is really picking up fast. It's getting a lot of really good marketing. That's why you've seen that big jump. It's all over. If you just do GigaSwap, you'll see a million things in Twitter. So guys, just keep this one in your sights. Don't FOMO into it right now. Please don't. It's done a 3x in a week. It's going to regress at some point. If it gets back down to these levels though, it's going to be something I'm going to buy a ton of. I'll probably do a 5-digit buy on it at least. And because I think the marketing's so strong, but we want to see BTC pull back to like 13.8. We want to see some sweet deals on discount. I think this one's it. So, I know I'm not a financial advisor, but in my channel, I tell you guys what I'm going to do. This one I'm going to go into hard if we see that regression. And I think this could be a long-term play as well. So just keep an eye on GigaSwap. Again, I don't own any. I wasn't paid to talk about it. I've never talked to the team. But this one just fills all the check marks as far as a really nice 50x, maybe 100x during the next bull run. We'll see. So sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
What exchange do you like to get a lot of these coins on? Is there like one in particular, or are you just kind of bouncing around?
Bouncing around, man. I've been doing all my buys on Arbitrum on Uniswap.
Okay, cool.
Mostly.
Yeah.
And that one, GigaSwap, is Ethereum Uniswap as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, Alex, go ahead, man. I took the baton from you. I'm giving it back.
All right. Well, thank you as always for the alpha. You always are finding the most interesting plays. And if anybody's watching this, like that kind of stuff, they're gems, right? So like, hopefully people are taking notes. I've seen your trading results over the past few months, and it's stupid, man. It's stupid. Like you may, I won't even say it like the order of magnitude you're trading at, but it's crazy, dude. So, all right, Chris. And by the way, I just wanted to respond to Nate. Yeah, DAI is also a good one. I am not as familiar with them with like the MakerDAO thing and DAI, but I have heard many people are super,
Yes.
confident in DAI as well. So that's another one to look into if you're looking to diversify your stable coins. And then he also said, I get what you were saying. I still think most of DeFi is garbage. I totally agree.
Sure.
This is like a casino full of like, drunk gamblers, and there's like shady guys in trench coats like, hey, come take a look at my wares, and they've got all these like shit coins and stuff, and
Yes.
NFTs that are just like, oh, I'll take that. And as soon as you touch it and interact with it, you're like, oh, my wallet's gone. What the hell? Anyway, so Chris, tell me about the Chris McCauley YouTube channel and how did it get started? What were you talking about then, and what are you talking about now?
Yeah, for sure. I started in August of 2017, and the reason I started making videos was because I was selling on Amazon at the time, and I saw a lot of people just saying terrible stuff. Like, it was all just wrong. I'm like, that's a lie. That's a lie. That's not right. And so I just went ahead and I just started to, just like talk about Amazon. And then that went ahead. I did that for a couple of years. I didn't really take it seriously. And I told myself, like, I kind of lost interest with it, but it was June of 2021. I'm like, I'm going to take YouTube seriously, but I have to come up with a strategy because Amazon is too niche. It's too niche to really like do what I want to do. And so I was like, I'm just going to expand about different ways of making money online. So I like spent a month finding a video editor. I created like SOPs, and then a thumbnail guy, all this other stuff. And then I just started making videos, like literally about like everything that I was doing, like credit card churning, Amazon FBA, Facebook drop shipping. And one of those was crypto. And at the time, it was about 2 weeks before I made this video, or 3 weeks before I made this video. I talked with a guy who, it was like, this guy was making $60,000 a month in Olympus DAO, and he had like already made like 800 grand. And then he had just got into Wonderland, and it was like, I don't know. I forgot like how much he made. And so I'm like, whatever. So I ended up putting, I think it was across like 3 DAOs, like 30K or something like that. So like 10K into like each DAO. And so it was one of the videos I made a video on. And then I remember at that time I had 8,000 subscribers, and me and my video editor were like, yo, this video has like 300 views in like 4 or 5 days, which for me at the time was awesome. Yeah. And then it just kept going and going. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then from there, I was left with the decision on, okay, what do I do? Like, do I scrap? I had a month's worth of videos. Do I scrap this month worth of videos, or do I like double down on crypto? But crypto is so broad that I like was already doing too much. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring on 3 researchers. So I did that, and that's literally all I did. And then I just kind of like pretty much went all in crypto for like, I guess, I don't think I made a non-crypto video after that. It was like for 3 months, probably like 3 or 4 months.
What was your focus within crypto?
Really just DeFi. Like it was mainly nodes. Like that was like, and I'm not talking,
Really?
I'm not talking like the nodes as a service, like real nodes providing actual utility. Some of them were like, gotcha. I was totally in some nodes as a service, but like those are pretty much toast. Like those are pretty much like they were basically Ponzi's. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was making passive, doing yield farming, staking, like all of it.
Which project did you make the most money with?
I would say probably, I don't know. Like I cashed out of, I would have to look at my spreadsheet, but I still made like 6 grand on Wonderland. Like I still made 6 grand, but
where were you at your top of profit with Wonderland?
Oh man, it was probably like, I think 20K or something like that. And then I cashed out, but I still lost on the DAOs though, because there was one that threw me off. So there was that. my biggest crypto win though of 2022 was I sold all my VeChain that I bought at a half a penny back in like 2020. So I made like, I would say like 80 grand on that. That was probably my biggest win.
Nice.
Which wasn't anything
dude.
DeFi related at all. Yeah.
Wow.
So I sold that. I paid off my school. I paid off a car,
man.
and then I just like kept the other stuff, just like, just safeguard. But yeah, there really wasn't any project where it was like, oh, that like in DeFi actually, where I was just like, oh, I made a ton of money. It was like a few $1,000s here, a few $1,000s there. You lose a few $1,000s and then just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
So
you're friends with Echold. He didn't tell you
Wow.
about Titano early on when he first jumped in?
no, he didn't tell me about that. And like honestly, I don't
That
even
bastard. You need to hit him next time.
know.
you see him.
I don't even. But like the thing is, and honestly, I'm probably glad he didn't, because I don't know if I would have done it anyway. Like I don't know. I really don't know if I would have done it. And the thing is, I was checking my YouTube email one day, and I found that they had reached out to me back in like, it was November. It was
Oh my
November.
God.
I know, and
Wow.
that made me sick. That made me sick because I didn't have an email manager.
Man.
So like now, like it was probably since like January, I have like someone who like sends me email reports and like everything's consolidated. But then I didn't have someone doing that. So like stuff was just slipping through the cracks. And so
I get that too,
Amazing.
where I'm like, I'll find a project that was really cool that I was interested in. They emailed me 2 months ago and it's in my spam folder. I'm like, what? Oh man.
I know, like,
Yeah.
bummer. Yeah.
Titano though in November, dude. Oh my gosh. I mean, Jesse made like $1 million on that almost, right? Like
I
something
think he said
crazy.
all after everything he made 600 something K. He said in his video, yeah.
But it wasn't a lot invested either, wasn't it? Like a few thousand.
3,600. 3,600.
Yeah, like 3,600 too.
That's awesome.
Crypto's crazy, right? Oh.
Crypto's crazy.
And
It's
so many people
crazy.
got mad at him when he sold. I remember that. I have a live stream of him like trying to talk like the crowd down, like everybody calm down. Like I can do what I want. Like I'm an independent trader out here. Like if I want to sell my stuff, I don't have to tell anybody. You guys are CEO, just like keeping you updated. And
yeah, I'm not
like
financially obligated. Yeah, I'm not financially obligated to tell you when I buy or when I sell.
I feel bad for him when that happened, like, because he got crazy heat about that whole situation. But yeah,
Well,
man,
that's because of
Go ahead.
narratives, and people were spinning. It's really easy to talk about stuff when you don't have facts. So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
So
wild times. Well, we've been looking for the next Titano since then, and we haven't been able to find it. And we've looked all over the place. I mean, Alex has covered 1 million projects. I've covered a decent amount myself. I know Austin has too. We found some that we thought had Titano potential. I think Sphere, for a while there, looked like it could do something like Titano. It didn't. I think at its top, it 38x or something like that. So I mean, that's not
Something like
bad.
that.
38x. But nothing like Titano, right? Where you turn 3,600 into, I think at its high point, Chris, you probably know this better. I think Jesse was over 1 million at its high point. So that's a 330x, right? So we haven't been able to find anything like that. But you know, it's out there.
Like, do you think anything like that exists right now? Like, do you think anything, like, genuine question, has the potential to do that in this economic climate, like a 50 to 100x?
Yeah, I absolutely think so.
Wow.
I think those opportunities are everywhere, and I miss them all the time. People in my community, like Enrique or Mika finds these crazy shitcoin pumps that are just like wild, and I'm like, where did you find this? She's like, I'm on this super degen launch pad over here that you've heard about, and I'm like, careful now. But like, she's like, oh man, people are making 20, 30, 100x on this stuff all day. Now granted, the liquidity on those things generally isn't like massive.
It's
like
so low.
they probably don't have 50 to 100 million dollars like Titano did back then. So like if you're a small person, like a small fish, you could probably make those types of gains playing around with like 50, 100, 500,000, $1 million. Like you're going to want to be careful because you might get trapped in there with a low liquidity type situation, and you're holding the bags. for other people to extract liquidity from. So, but if you're throwing in $5,000, turns into like 50, I think that's totally realistic these days. But you got to know what, got to find.
Those are
something.
out there every day. Yeah, those are out there every day.
Yeah.
But something like Titano, no, haven't seen anything remotely close. Not even close. And like Alex talked about the liquidity, because it's got to be there, right? If not, it's kind of pointless, right? The liquidity is not there, and we haven't seen anything remotely close to it, which is a bummer. But we know it's coming, and we just hope that it'll come to us. That would be awesome. Wonderful.
Titano had so much hype, though. Also, thanks to Jesse, right?
Thanks to Jesse.
He brought me into this sector of DeFi with that video, right? And that was like my first taste of DeFi was Titano from Jesse's video, and I'm like, oh, this is unreal. And I made like $9,000 or something, and I got my first hit of DeFi, and I was hooked. And then after that, I lost a lot of money. So, yeah, that's
I mean, next bull run, we'll get them.
Yeah, but like broke even. It's like I made all this with Titano, and then I lost it all with these other projects. It kind of evened out.
And you learned a lesson.
Now it's like
whatever that may be. Yeah.
The lesson is
should we end it with that? Should we end the show with the lesson?
I want to talk about Chris's new channel. He's got a really cool new channel. He did a video with Jimmy, my buddy Jimmy, James Pelton. He did a video about it the other day where Chris talked about I think it's called Better Blockchain.
Better Blockchain, yeah. With Crypto all these, Jimbo.
Crypto Jimbo's, he's the man. And the links to your channel, both your channels, are in the description below. So if people want to check it out, in the description. But do you want to give us a quick rundown of what Better Blockchain the channel is and why you started it when you've got such a massive and successful channel with over 80,000 subscribers?
Yeah, so it's called Better Blockchain. The goal is to make blockchain better. Just going to be talking with different crypto protocols. It's kind of like two birds, one stone for me. So on my main channel, it's really hard to talk about something crypto related if I'm personally not doing it. And like, it's really, because like the motto on YouTube for like a really good channel is show, you don't tell, right? That's like the motto. So like, I don't want to bog down my main channel, my main personal brand and turn it. And the only way for this to work would be for me to basically have a conversation, right? Because just like one of my idols, like I would say like mentors from afar, is Lex Friedman. And the guy is very, very good at asking questions. And his life goal is to talk with Vladimir Putin. Like that's his life goal. And he obviously doesn't like Vladimir Putin in any way, shape, or form. But what I'm saying is that I'm able to talk with these projects, whether I'm in them or not. It's a conversation. And maybe as a byproduct, my viewers can find projects either they like or don't like. I get to research cryptos and learn more, and as well as network. So there's a lot of benefits that come out of this without bogging down my main channel. And I don't have to, maybe not so much now, but there were so many opportunities I personally had to pass on during the bull run for any way, shape, or form. Whether it was I couldn't do a video on a project fast enough or whatever that may be. And so this for me is also a long-term play. So it's like, who knows what could come from it. So that's like, I think it's always important for people to share their incentives. I think it's really, and that's kind of, I guess, my incentive as well. And hopefully provide a ton of value and talk with, just ask some good questions, hopefully, and see what happens.
I like that strategy.
Very
cool. I think sharing your incentives, conflicts of interest, biases, personal opinions with the viewers is important. So that way they can make the most informed decision based on the information that they're hearing, because so many times people might be not disclosing that they've got X tokens over here, and then they're talking positively about it over here when they might not be talking that way if they didn't hold. It's right. So it's good to be like, I've got these tokens and I want them to do well, but I also like the project. So just know kind of where I'm coming from. And I think people feel better knowing that information, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm in this too, you know what I mean? And that's, so I think, and it's like, I know people just don't know until you have a YouTube channel, like finance YouTube, and more specifically, I would even go out on a limb and say crypto YouTube. It's corrupt. Like there are so like you don't know like, and I think this is a question I'm curious to know your guys on thoughts on. It's like people don't know, like, do you have a sellout point, like where you will sell out your literal audience? And I know I don't have a sellout point. I'm 100% off, 100% certain you could offer me $1 billion and I will turn it down, because I've worked on myself and I've asked myself that question throughout years of doing that, right? But not everyone has, and I'm not saying I'm better or worse than anyone. I'm just saying I've put in that time to know. And so as a viewer, before I started receiving offers from videos, it's like you never know what's going on in the background, and
No.
just be very careful with who you listen to, and like treat it sometimes as entertainment too. Sometimes it's just
Absolutely.
fun and entertainment. So that's, I just wanted to add that too.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I mean, we try to be incredibly transparent here. I mean, I've been doing this for almost a year, and I've, kind of noticed some things that kind of blew me away. And I kind of noticed some things I was doing. I was like, oh, wait, that's not that may be standard, but do I want to be a part of that? So it's like, you do have to kind of ask yourself some tough questions. And look, when we were talking about NDB, right, before we left off, what did I say, guys? I said, hey, just beware, guys. The volume seems kind of low. That's kind of like a bearish sign. The chart's looking a little bearish, right? So we try to be as honest as possible and transparent, even if we're flooding our own bags, so to speak, because that's what we're about. We're trying to be as transparent as possible and let everyone make a decision based on that. So, I know people have gotten upset at me for being a little too transparent and honest in regards to, hey, I feel like this is looking too bearish. Some projects reached back out to me and were upset with me because they felt that my analysis about them after I did a video on them was not, bullish enough. But that's just, like you said, what's your point? And my point is, I'm just going to tell how it is. And, if people like it, great. If not, oh well, but at least I'm being honest.
And there's an incentive for people making videos too, to like long-term, like short-term. Yeah. But like the people who really get the long-term picture are going to do what you did. And if the person who is sponsoring or whatever doesn't understand that, then either one, they're ignorant, which probably isn't the case, or two, they are being selfish and they just want you to just pump something that doesn't deserve it. So all the good projects, they love the criticism.
Yes, exactly. I even have it in my conditions before, like if a project approaches me, like I want to do an AMA with you, I'm like, okay, you have to agree to all this stuff. And one of those things is like, I'm going to give you my honest opinion, good or bad, and I'm going to be transparent with my audience. I'm not going to pump your coin or shill your token or whatever. And that's like condition like 3 in my list of things. Like I make them agree that I might talk bad about their project if I think it sucks or I think they're shady or something. Like I'll ask hard questions, and they know that up front. So if they go into an AMA with me, they know I could ask some shit that would knock them off balance. And I have actually had quite a few projects turn away from doing videos with me because of that condition, where they're like, oh, well, no, we just want you to say good things about our project, say this and that, and then we'll be all good. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like if I did that, I'd be, like you said, I would be misleading my audience, where I just want like to be able to inform them as honestly as possible with edutainment, if you will, and tell them like, hey, these are the actual risks and potential rewards of this DeFi project. Super careful if you want to participate in this, but here's what I think about it. Take that for what it is, but I'm not going to be one of these like, this is the next 100x, get in on this now, we're going to the moon. Like there's so much of that, and I watch those videos and I'm just like, ugh, and like I cringe and like I feel dirty watching them. Like and that's why I'm only subscribed to like a few DeFi YouTubers out here, like you guys, like Pelton, like Austin, and Serenity's he's a good one. He's in here. Pocket Ace is another one. Good Day Crypto, Sean. Like I got a bunch of them like that. But man, so some of these YouTube, I can't even believe the videos I see coming out of them, and I'm just like, I watch one of them and I'm like, never again.
I had a lawyer audit my channel. Like I had like just to see how that went. And there's so much going on, like in just finance, YouTube. Like it's just a matter of time. Like like it's like 5 years from now, like guys, buckle up. So if I were you, like like you probably not as much, but yeah, when you're talking about like any type of future return, like I don't even like to use the word invest now. If it's like
I do like not use
protocol,
no,
like ever. Yeah, it's like don't ever.
I say
like she was like
I say participate.
Like, I say that. Yeah.
I'm like if you want to participate in the project, and I see other YouTubers like if you want to invest in this investment, and I'm like, oh my god, you can't do that, man. What are you doing?
It's crazy. Like technically you can do that, but potentially there could be some repercussions there. So
and also like I'm super sketched out by any kind of like referral link. When I first got out here and I didn't know what was going on, I'm like, oh, drip's so cool. I started a drip team for my animal sanctuary, and like a month into that, I'm just like cool. I started learning about like SEC and FTC stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do any kind of like referral links or affiliate type stuff for financial products because I'm not a financial advisor. Like I'll give you affiliate links for my Amazon stuff. All right, use my Amazon associate link, whatever. It's all you can buy my camera that I'm using right now in the description below. Check it out. But I will not I will not be putting out like referral links for financial products because if somebody gets wrecked on it later, then like I had an bias to sell to them, and I don't ever want to be selling. Right, I want to be reporting, kind of like you were saying about with like Lex Friedman. You're like coming at this like a reporter, right? I want to be an objective reporter in this cool like software fintech space. I want to be an analyst, if you will, not a salesperson. The teams and projects, they can sell all day. They could do what they want. They could be the salespeople. I just want to report on this stuff to anybody who's interested in listening, and that's all I want to do.
And that's cool that you're doing it from that, like because it's. Like you're like, okay, like let's just stay objective here. So that's cool, man.
Yeah, man. This has been a great talk, Chris. You got to come on here again more often.
Yeah, no, this was fun. I learned a lot too. Like I've got notes on the side too of like I'm gonna be looking at GigaSwap if it pulls back, if Bitcoin pulls back. About to get into that. So yeah.
Well, something really weird just happened with GigaSwap. Some guy just bought $38,705 worth, and then right after that, some guy bought $25,191 worth. So
they're watching
us,
man.
Crazy.
Brando's
on the live stream.
Brando's always watching me.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's Brando doing that, actually.
Hey, and Nate, thank you, man. I appreciate all your support. You're an awesome person. I appreciate you, man. And same with you, Pocket Aces and Serenity. You guys
thanks
are
everyone for
watching.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We started way late. Yeah, we started way late,
Chris.
and it hurt the attendance. Sorry about that, guys. We started almost an hour and a half late. So
it's okay. Yeah. People catch up on these later. They always do. I think we've gotten good traction with this show, and I love to see where this is going to go, especially as the market changes. Imagine going into the bull market and we're on like episode 40 or episode 60. Like it'll be crazy. Yeah.
We're gonna be a lot older when that happens, though. When that bull market
we have a lot more wrinkles.
But guys, we did it. We made it.
Now someone go get my cane. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, guys. Everyone, thanks for watching. Chris, thanks for jumping on. You're invited.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It was a blast.
Bye, guys. Thanks for watching.